Hello.
Yeah. Alright. Okay. I think my knees are fine today. Bones should be happy. Alrighty, where's my leap motion? Because people still, like, I still want to be able to, like, you know, show off my hands and shit. Alright, slap that in. Swap over to here.
Boobies.
Where's my hands? They're not here. I got my boobies, RNA. Don't you worry. Try again. There we go. There's our hands. Hello. Welcome. Happy Friday, everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. I hope it's going well. We're like 10 days away till Christmas. 9 for like me where I am right now, but I won't be in Australia when it actually happens. I'm going to be with family. Also, move, cable. Put yourself in a position where you're not bothersome, please. Nope, that's still bothersome. Hang on a sec. Oh, wait, no, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Nope, still bothersome. All right, loop it once more. There you go. Wait, can you hear this? Yeah, you can. I saw the mic channel like spike up when I accidentally dinged my water bottle. All right, try and hold this leap motion. The leap motion is like, I might need to go to. I definitely need to go to my old housemate and hello, Jason. Hi, I need to go to my old housemate and be like, listen, I need new leap motion mounts because this one is like very loose. I want some nice tight ones. I want something tight. You're gonna send my cactar friends if this is the live stream before you leave. Yes. All right. I'm gonna have to explain the little elephant in the room for some people. But let's see who we got. We got Chimera. We got my mod Jason. We got Urane. We got JCat. We've also got a newbie, Montgomery Gator. You have like the little X's at the start as well. I was half expecting like a big X, little X, Montgomery Gator, little X, big X kind of thing going off, but I guess they're just both little X's. All right. But yeah, no, I gotta now explain the elephant in the room because my stream schedule, I haven't updated it for what it is next week. So some people might have noticed, like, you know, other than this week, I didn't put anything down for Saturday. At least I don't think I put anything down for Saturday. Did I put anything down for Saturday? I shouldn't have because I'm gonna be going to the States next week. And I have got to get a few things done. No, I'm gonna have to, yep. After this stream, I'm going to be activating vacation mode, which basically means that I do not have plans of streaming after this one. There isn't going to be a Saturday stream. There isn't going to be a Sunday stream. There isn't any plans for streaming next week or the week after, because like I'm going to be on break properly. I'm not going to be working like I was doing yesterday. I am going to be with family. I'm going to be like over in Hawaii because my grandfather has really wanted to see us again. Well, really, he wanted to see my my niece, my sister's daughter, because that's his like great granddaughter, and so that's like a huge thing with old people. Is like, you know, it's like, oh, I can see my daughter anytime. I can see my granddaughter not very often, but a great granddaughter, I gotta see this nonsense. So yeah, so basically, like my grandfather has organized, and this was like back in 2020. Like 2019, technically, he was organized. He was like, I can't see my great granddaughter. She couldn't come to the States, and obviously I can't go down there anytime, like, because this is Christmas right now. And he's like, hang on, we're not planning to do anything in like Easter of 2020. We'll certainly, like, you know, find the time to, like, you know, bring the Australian peeps up into the States, up into Hawaii, because that will work out. This was all being done. This was all planned before like February 2020. I know, like, real fun nonsense was happening in the US at near the end of 2019, amazingly enough. Like, there was an assassination that was completed, which, you know, scared a lot of Americans in the intelligence community, because they were like, oh shit, we just killed a general, and it didn't like, you know, scare his followers to not do an attack on us. We had information that was like, oh, it could very well happen, and then we killed this person, and it didn't pan out. Some people might be feeling galvanized. Holy shit, we're on high alert. So yeah, so World War III nearly started back in December 2019, January 2020. But then in February of 2020, we had a good old COVID-19 hit us. We were still trying to come up with a name for that one too, which was actually really crazy. So yeah, so once that news came out, and Grandpa was like, you know, like, we'll sort this out, I reckon. You know, we'll solve this, you know, COVID nonsense in like a month or something. I mean, how bad can it be? Yeah, two years later, and like several reschedulings, we then committed to like, you know, Christmas 2022, and like, I'm going to be flying out next week, so thankfully it's not going to get rescheduled in the last minute. If it was, it would be very problematic. So yeah, you got something tight? Do you now, Urane? Do you have something tight? Oh shit! I just realized I'm actually forgetting a critical piece of my wardrobe right now, since we're still technically in December. I gotta get my Christmas hat. I need the Christmas hat, because it's very, very important. And then I can move you over here, move you over here. So, and in today's stream, I know I'm not going to be here for Christmas, but I felt like, you know, I wanted to do like some edits in the background and such. Because also, like, I could maybe change this background into something like, you know, a little more Christmassy for next year. And have that at the ready. Because, like, this is like 10 frames of 3D rendering that's being turned into like a GIF. The cacti are coming when you least expect it. Oh boy, they're going to be coming when I least expect it. Damn. Alright, alright, so I'm opening up Blender. I'm opening up like the quote-unquote streaming room. When's your flight out? I am flying out Wednesday, technically speaking. So, oh, and because of how timing works when you fly from like Australia to the US, it will seem like as if, even though like the trip is going to take like 16 hours, the day, like, it's gonna seem like, oh yeah, like, I'll arrive like 4 hours after I left, kind of weird thingy-madiggies. It will still be Wednesday over in the States, but instead it will be like the evening or something. It's gonna really fuck with my brain. The only guarantee is that they're coming, of course. The cacti will be coming. We'll meet again. Don't know where. Don't know when. I hope the airplane food isn't too bad. Yislith, hi! No, the airplane food is going to probably be somewhat of a bad. Also, hi there, furry gamer 22. Merry Christmas to you twos. Can we get a shout out for Yislith while I get my blender running and making sure like nothing is going to crack, because I am not running one of those like really cool streaming PCs, and I do not have the money or the energy to do like, you know, 2 streaming PCs, like one for rendering and the other for video games and what have yous. Alrighty. Now hopefully this works. Yes, it did. Excellent. Look at this shit. Also, if you guys aren't aware, Yislith is like one of the few like strong women here. Like, they're a real stonky chunk. Where in the world is... Oh, I know why you went wrong. It's because it has to be clip shout out. It's CSO. Oh, this is gonna pop up something twice. Look at her!
Zgog. This is a gog.
Look at this chunk.
Oh, you fucking goblin. You fucking goblin. How dare you? I mean, you're...
And they know Gundam's shit, too. Like,
you're not
look
wrong.
at that.
You're not too far off. You're not too far off. I mean... Okay, okay. Here's a Zgog.
Big woman.
Or Zgog or whatever. And then here's me.
Oh my... Wait. You're not even wearing proper pants? What the fuck? I can't share that. What the? I can't share that.
No.
You need pants.
No.
What are you wearing?
How dare you?
Yislith, what are you wearing on stream?
How dare.
You better still be in here and explaining yourself. Thank you for the boobies. And yes, I know there's boobies up there.
I will remember this.
Cool. All right. But like, nope. Zoom out. What? Like, you're not wearing pants. What if you like stood up straight? Ah! Like, you're sexy, you're big, you're strong, you're sexy with a big booba, but there's only so much we can show on stream. A loincloth covers enough. You know Mecha 2, Mecha and Toku? Yeah, but Chimera. Are you, like, a big, sexy, strong woman? That's the difference. Like, anyone can know about mecha. Everyone likes playing D&D, but no one is having a hard-on over Dungeons and Dragons Masters. They're having a hard-on over Brendan Lee Mulligan and Matt Mercer because they're hot and they do D&D shit. We live in a very... What's the word I'm looking for? We live in a very selfish society here where you can't just be good at something. You have to look good when you're doing something. All right, so yeah, this is my scene. I did some clever thingy-madiggies where, depending on which frame we're on... Oh my goodness, why is it playing? Depending on which frame you're on, the lights are going to be a different color. That took so long to do, and that actually crashed my piece. That actually crashed Blender while I was in the middle of doing all this kind of such. So the rest of the stuff we're going to be doing today is going to be like other things we can do. So, because... yeah, this is my scene. There is nothing beyond this void, fun fact. You're just like... just a perfect giant square. Like, I could probably, like, pull this wall, like, in a little bit more and, like, try and make this a little more accurate of a space. But, you know, this is just a 3D fucking environment. I can just pretend I have a room that's, like, you know, 10 plus meters wide. And here's a mini figurine of me besides a solved Rubik's Cube and a Kronk. Hi there, Hendrix. Add Yislith on the shelf. Yislith, do you have, like, a 3D model? Just put a they get a Daki or something, and I'm like, right, I'm just gonna put a Daki Makra right on the couch, like, right there. Also, where's the... I need to bring him back. Where is, I'm missing something. I'm missing a, particular... Alright, I'm just gonna... Oh god, this is gonna crash my system, isn't it? Also, fucking fly. you could pester a 3D artist, perhaps. If you go for Woolcond, I hate to break it to you, but Woolcond has like 200 plus people waiting on him to make some cool shit. Alrighty. Oh, this is some really old stuff. Alright, so where? Alright, plush. Oh, okay, so it's in the armchair. So, okay. So that's where it is. Alright, well, I can deselect this, armchair, and select, where is the other? Ah, there's the other armchair. Okay, that's not, oh yeah, it is the armchair. Okay, cool. So the plush zebra should be there, and it's gonna, oh my goodness. I forgot how big of a polygon count my plush zebra has. He's not exactly a small one. Oh frick, it's Hendrix. Hi, Hendrix. Still recovering from a cold, but feeling better than before. Hey, at least you're recovering. Hopefully it wasn't like, you know, the deep Rona cold or something like that, Hendrix. You're gonna be alive, right? This isn't the last time we're gonna be talking to you or anything like that. You're not like on a ventilator with like seconds to live. You're gonna come out better. You're gonna come out stronger, right? Hopefully they do. All right. So, all right. Probably I'm gonna hide this and just have him only in the renders. What do I want? What do I want in this like scene? Actually, you know what? I have sticky notes. I have sticky notes on my PC that can tell me some cool things I want. So, all right. Christmas tree. We've got that sorted, so I can put a little check mark. So, Christmas tree done. I don't know how to do holly and mistletoe. What is holly and mistletoe? Like, I know mistletoe is like this weird leaf that people kiss under. Like, ow. Holly and mistletoe. Like, holly is a shrub or tree with dark green color spindly leaves. Hang on. Cookie for Jason. Okay. I reckon I can make this. Oh, actually, to be real, I don't know how I'd make the fucking leaf. I'll be real with you. Let's go for some. Okay, so it's like 3 leaves and some 3 little orbs. All right, easy enough. I reckon I can do it. And I'll put it like on the I can put it like under the TV or something. All right. So first things first, I need to snap the cursor to world origin so it goes back here. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna move all the shit. Hopefully it doesn't like break. There we go. I'm gonna move it so it's like all the stuff is like, oh, my corner thingy-majiggy is not moving. Okay, hopefully this doesn't break everything. This is me being a fucking Blender professional right here. That's about... There we go. That's about, like, the crosshair is now, like, basically center. And then... Thank you for the hyper himbo Hendrix while I move my furniture around. And then I'm gonna move all this stuff. And, of course, you have to get rid of my shirt, didn't you? Wait, what's this? All right, what I should have done is, rather than move the things, unlock the cameras, and then do the thingy-madiggies, I should have... All right, so there's my corner camera. We're going to unlock all that shit. All right, stream room. All right, webcam camera. Unlock all that shit. Then we press A. And then we move this. So then that way... Oop. We move it so it's just a little bit more center. All right, that should be good. Yeah. All right, that's a lot better. Let me just see. All right, so negative. All right, so that should be... Yep, and it retains the camera angles and such, which is good. So, actually, let me just do a quick render image and see how this looks. We should also have our plush zebra over in the bottom right as well. So, yeah. Thank you for thinking I am just oh so unga bunga, useless. Oh. I think I broke something. Because that little gap you see there shouldn't be there. I know why that gap is there. It's because I didn't fucking move the walls. Hang on a second. Yep, there it is. Snap selected to active. Whoop, nope, wrong way. Snap selected to active. There we go. So now if I go and render the image once more, now the wall should, like, properly be in place. Yep, there we go. Now there's no gap. Now there's... Oh, although I do need to move those two thingy-madiggies out of the way because those are just, like, assets or what's-mahoozy. So I need to find out where I put those. All right. All right, so we don't need to look at the stream room. These are the... So the owner... All right, so the tree is for Christmas. Oh, I see. So it's because these two things are hidden. We got a door somewhere. Ah, there's my door. Hi, I'm Jeremy, and I'm the seller of real fake doors. Alright, look at this door. Wow, you wouldn't know it was fake. What about this? Oh, this one doesn't lead anywhere either. Come join me at our real fake doors. Boobies! Hi there, DJ. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the boobies. Alright. Okay, so we got our thingy-madiggy here. And... Alright, so I think the first thing we're gonna... Oop. I was holding shift at the time, I'm sorry to say. So here's your cookie and a gun. Well, actually, I'll keep the gun. You have the cookie. You're not allowed the gun, okay? Gun's mine. Thank you very much. I need it to back away, like, you know, some of the, you know, the crazier simps out there. There are some people that profess their love to me, and it's like, sometimes it's really appreciative. Other times, they're really, really crazy. And I don't know how to communicate with these peeps. All right. Now, has someone... let's see. So we got curves, where we can get, like, cool segments and such. Metaballs, surfaces, text, volumes, grease paint, armatures, lattices. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to add in an image. Save image as. I'm going to really quickly save myself an image of a holly and mistletoe, which is right here. Wow, I love how it tells me that it's transparent, and you can already see the fucking audacity this website is done, thinking, oh, we can just, you know, pretend it's a fucking image. All right, we're going to make that 0, so then that way we perfectly see it. Also, I'm probably just going to lift it up by, like, 1 centimeter. There we go. It does what we need it to do, like, at the very least, which is it gives us a leaf that we're going to trace around with. So the way we're going to do this is... Thank you. So the way we're going to do this, I reckon, we add a single vertice, and then we go into edit mode. All right, so I'm going to start this. I'm going to start this vertice like here. We're going to go extending it here. So what we're doing is basically tracing this leaf. So then that way we get our, you know, we get the shape of our leaf. Now I know some people use like instead like I know sometimes people will like go with like a square or a plane or something, so then that way they're getting the width at the same time, and then they do all the pinches and adjustments and all that later on. But I'm a risky man where I am just, you know, gonna go with a flat. I'm just gonna start from a single vert cookie for sky. Here you go. Gonna start with like a single vertice and make my way around, because you know what? Fuck 'em. This is going to be a real high-def sort of leaf. Also, if it gets, like, you know, too precise, we can always, like, just decimate it. And hopefully it keeps, like, a little bit of its sharpness. Oop.
Check out my
pecs, little man. Gonna finish recovering and sleeping now. Have a good screen. Not to worry, Hendrix. Thank you for coming in. Everything I do today is perfectly timed to interrupt me. Don't worry about that. Like, okay. I take everything back. Was it? No, it was Yislith. All right, well, okay. DJ does not deserve my wrath for this. Yislith, however, Yislith needs to give me back my shirt. What are you going to be doing with my shirt, Yislith? No, don't distract me with my bouncing booba. You're going to need to explain to me... Oh. No, here we go, here we go, here we go. Cookies. There we are. Fantastic. Oh, no, they just dropped an anvil. They didn't, like, properly kill me or anything like that. All right. So, yeah. Hi there, Sir Dragon. Welcome to the stream. Dropping anvils and giving me cookies and all that. How are you? I'm literally just drawing a leaf. I don't know if this required, like, you know, a nice cock compliment. Oh, did I hear a honk? Yes, I did. Someone is wanting to look at my booba. Who was it? Which one of yous did it? It was Dragon, wasn't it? Horny. Dragon is being horny. Oh, I just realized something. Alright, so it's based off the bounding box. We want it on the local. How do I flip this? I want to flip it like right here, right on the... Oh wait, hang on. I got a better idea. I can just use the mirror modifier. Where is it? Mirror. There we go. And then from going through the thingy-majiggy on transform. There we go. So there we go. Now it's like mirrored on the what's-my-who's-y axes. Delete the last two vertices. Alright, let me just hide this. And then go into object mode, lift this up just a little bit. So now we got our leaf. And if I go into edit mode, I can then if I apply this filter, then I go back into edit mode. And then I want to merge these vertices at the center. There we go. A raid? Mango? Hi, Mango. Okay, I just realized I still don't have my shirt on just yet. Welcome to the stream, Mango. Thank you for coming in. Pop-Tart Squad coming in. Ah, you're the Pop-Tart Squad. Is there a shout-out being given to Mango? Okay, so there was one for the announcements, but I didn't see a thingy-majiggy. What were you playing? Marbles on stream. Ooh, okay. Never played that. Were you, like, doing some fun little what's-my-whoosies, like gambling on the marbles on stream, or were you just wanting to see where they fall? Alright, so if I go... Alright, so I'm going to select the second one, and I'm going to create a thingy-majiggy here. And then... Actually... There we go, I got my shirt back on. I'm not naked forever. So yeah, so that's our leaf. How do I make it so that... I'll think of something. Hang on, so... Ding.
I feel like I'm calling for a dog, damn.
Who's that in the bottom right? Oh, is that you, Mango, in the bottom right there?
We got it on private till you come back, Hunk.
So,
Wait, this isn't Marbles on stream. This is fucking Among Us.
Surprise, shawty.
oh my gosh, I literally
No, please. Yep. Alright, it's gone. Mango's a pretty cool dude. Awesome. Alright, well, if you get vouched for, then I can't fault you for that. Alrighty, connect by their selected or creating edges, splitting faces. Alright, let's see if I can... And then if I go select... Select more. Okay, that's going down the wrong way, so I need to Control-Shift-Plus. I'm trying to figure out, like, the best way to... Excuse me. That was, like, four months ago? Ah, okay. Trying to figure out the best way of, like, combining so I can make this, like, a face. Actually, you know what? Maybe I can just go F. There we go. There. It's all one... Actually... excuse me. I need to get rid of these, and then make that a face, and then is there a way for me to put a little knife through it? No. Alright. It's gotta be... So we got like a leaf. Like this. And I wanna do a cut. I can do, let's see, can I do a loop cut from here? No, I need to do a knife's cut, so... Alright, how do I apply this knife cut? Okay, hang on. So, space to... Oh, okay, space is to confirm the knife cut. There we go. So now we've got, like, this nice little, like, middle thingy-majiggy, which means we could probably just put it down just a little bit, so then that way it gives it a, like... Ooh, actually, I know exactly. So we're going to move it down like this. Is that? Yep, that's working. Then we're going to do a proportional edit. And... make it so that it does like that. %. Wait, was that himbo or Q? That was himbo. That was pretty good. How's the kneecap?
Dog wanted me to say how is the kneecap Grant, plus I got my commission done.
Excellent. Excellent work, Bone. The knee is fairly good. If you check the channel redeems, I've actually gone and updated something. I think you'll be very satisfied to see its return. All right, I need to. So yeah, so we're making this. So we're making a leaf. I'm gonna give it a new material. Mistletoe leaf. It's going to be called a mistletoe leaf. We're going to crank down the G and the B. Do an increase. So we want green, but we probably want to darken it just a bit. Saturate. All right, let's actually, no, let's keep. And then, yeah, let's make it like really low like that. We'll add some... We'll make it rougher somehow, don't you worry. Like, it won't just forever be like that. I wonder if there's a way to, like... merge by distance. Hey, that's a new profile icon! And you were 97% cute when it happened. Alright, I'm gonna keep and then do sharp edges. Yeah. Yeah, that helps reduce the number of thingy-majiggies, and what's more is this thing is gonna be shrunk like so much, so then that way it's really just a thingy. So yeah, that makes it like a little bit better. I got these hanging vertices to get rid of, which, you know, that's fine. We can do that. We can just get rid of random vertices, so then that way delete vertices. There we go. So now we got the startings of a leaf. We got the startings of a leaf. Wait, no, hang on. I didn't enable it correctly, did I? Nope, I forgot to unpause it. Now it should be available. Sorry about that, Bone. I should have known why. I should have known I wasn't greeted with squat redeem aim, but I didn't. All right, so we got our leaf, and there's not too many crazy. There we go.
Masked Dog thinks you should do 15 squats.
I bet you wanted to do that before you got in, didn't you, Bone? But I was an idiot. I didn't put this in. Alrighty then, here we go. 15 squats. Sorry. Getting up from my chair, have to stretch. Here we go. Do you want to see the commission I paid for? Drop it in the Discord. We have a Fursona channel if it's your Fursona. I'll have a look shortly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Masonic, don't you dare steal my kneecaps. 10. Ow. What the fuck? 11.
Mango underscore the underscore Pop Tart wanted me to say founded on September 12th,
What is-
2001, by Gerard, Mikey, Toro, and drummer Matt
11.
Pellissier, and later joined by Aero. The band signed with
12.
Eyeball Records and released their debut album, I Brought You My Bullets,
13.
You Brought Me Your Love, in 2002.
14.
They signed with Reprise Records the next year and released their major
15.
label debut, Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge, in 2004. Shortly after the album's release, Pellissier was replaced by Bob Breyer.
What the fuck was that, Mango? Yes, but I am not going to post the spicy one because that one is for me. Ah, yeah, no. Preferably don't put the spicy one in the Fursona channel. Hey, it's Bone! Ooh, okay, so you got like this weird off-on eye on your shoulder. Oh, and they're on your shoulder blades. No, wait, no, hang on. Oh, they're on the shoulder blades. Hey, it's like the back of them. Cool little eyes. Sweet tattoo.
Mango underscore the underscore Pop Tart wanted me to say My Chemical Romance, commonly abbreviated to MCR or My Chem, is an American rock band from Newark, New Jersey. The band's current lineup consists of lead vocalist
They're your
Gerard
wings.
Way,
Oh,
lead
oh yeah, and
guitarist
you have a
Ray
little
Toro,
asterisk
rhythm guitarist
where-
Frank Iero, and bassist Mikey Way.
Is it saying
They are
detachable? Hang
considered
on.
one of the most influential rock
QE
groups of the 2000s and a major act
table
in the pop, punk, and emo
wings.
genres,
Yeah,
despite the band
retractable
rejecting the
wings.
latter label.
Yeah, I can read. I'm not that himbo. I can read. I love how the artist is called Joe, like Owo, J Owo. Alrighty. Lovely art. That's a good piece. Good commission. Alrighty. Where was I in my thingy? All right, so we got our leaf. Holly dot leaf, or really mistletoe leaf. Alrighty, so we got that, and then what we'll do is we're gonna add in a Taurus. Sure, let's make it that big. I have like so many mistletoe green for now, but then, all right, how did I do this one? That was a geometry. Oh, okay, so I used geometry nodes for that one. This one, however, I'm going to use a particle system. Yes, we're going to make it hairs, but hear me out. We're going to render it as an object, and the instance of the object is going to be the mistletoe leaves. Ow! No, not the cactar chimera! Dead. All dead. Stream over. Zebra's dead. Also, I think the leap motion holder is actually like reaching the end of its days. I'm gonna need to get a new one. All right. All right. What I should. Okay, hang on a second. Edit. Shrink / fatten. I'm gonna shrink this. So, because we need it to be like fairly small. And then that way. All right, now we need to do some jitter to the object. If it will let me. Jittered. Unborn? No. Children. Hair shape. How do I make it go in random directions? I don't want an even distribution. Alright, let's go with...
Bone Dog has added quote
Why?
number 265, children hair shape.
Don't know if I'd make that a quote. Oh, hang on. I know what I need to do. Edit mode. That way, it's the tip of the leaf that's doing the thingy-madiggy. And actually, what I should do is I'm going to create a new collection. We're going to call this collection Mistletoe Leaves. That way I'll slot you in there.
Bone Dog wanted me to say perfect all according to plan, get me his femur cactor friends and his belly bones.
Gonna put you there. And we're gonna go and... Where's the twist? Let's see. Can we use the screwing? Alright, let's not make you, like... No, it's not that. What is it? Hook? Displace? No. There's like this nice little... There's like this thing you can use that just like, you know, does a little, like, twisting to it. Is it the warp? No, it's not warp. Maybe it is the screwing. Hang on a second. So if we do it on the Y, iterations. Yeah. Bonk. Nope, that's not it. What is it? It's like it's a really simple thing as well. It's not like I have to do like dozens of different thingy-madiggies. Simple deform. That's it. All right, so we can do like what's called a...
Dog wanted me to say, hey Grant, what does this lever do?
Don't hit me with the lever. Not when I've just, you know... All right, Alright, you're gonna bend on the... .5. Everyone having a laugh, are they? Alright, on the Z, what does it look like on the Z?
Bone Dog thinks you should do 15 squats.
Has it been like 5 minutes already? Jesus. Alrighty, we'll make that one the simple deform, and then this one we'll go into edit mode with that, and I think we're gonna add in our like little dot of holly, or add in like, you know, a 3-pronged leaf thingy-majiggy in there instead. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Darn it, leap motion, stay in there. 12.
Bone Dog wanted me to say, I am sorry I didn't know that lever dropped an anvil.
Yeah, you did. 13. 14. 15. Thank you for the 15 squats. You knew a lever was going to drop on me. Alrighty. Oh, actually, no, I don't want this to taper. What I want to do instead is I'm going to make it do an array. Relative offset. I wanted to do like a rotation thing. Screw. That's not what I want. No. There's got to be a way for me so that, like, it spins on the, like, array. Not a constant, not an object, not a merge. There's gotta be a way. There we go. So we do a... That's the data. Is there a way for me to rotate that? Nope, not a displace. Nope, not a weld, not a triangulate. It's like the array, but I want to like do it as like a like I want to somehow mix the screw feature. Because obviously that profile isn't what I want. That does a weird cocoon thing. No, that's not it. Alright, okay, I think that's fine, doing the mirror as such. This one here, meanwhile, let's go edit mode. I'm gonna snap the cursor, Shift D, and then I'm gonna rotate from the 3D cursor. So then that way we've got ding, ding. That way we've got the 3 leaves there. And then yeah, I think it's fine having a little bit of clipping there because like that's not going to be the issue. All right, this thingy-madiggy. Back over to this, and it's not going to be an object. It's going to be a collection, and it's going to be all the it's going to be all the mistletoe leaves. There we go. But even random order, it's going to be random, which is what we want. Sure. -90 doesn't. There we go. Needs like it can't be jutting out like that. It needs to, unless I want an emitter. Frame starts at 0, ending on 1 in its lifetime. We wanted that many. Nah. Okay, we're gonna need to use the geometry thing. Hang on a second. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Geometry nodes. There we go. So we got the first one here, which is doing that. Second one here, which is doing that. Geometry nodes. All right. So what's the first one doing? All right. So the second one is doing. Okay. So Christmas balls on object. Christmas balls. So that's what that one is doing. What's this one doing? It's trimming the oh, okay. So this is the Christmas lights. So, all right. All right. Let's do a different. So this one is going to be the mistletoe, and we're going to change it from being all this, and we're looking for collection info. It's going to be all the mistletoe leaves, and that geometry is going to go into instance instead. And delete that. Ooh. Alright, so transforming of the geometry. So we're keeping the geometry. Distribute on the faces. Then... yeah, no, that's not gonna help. Make it random, which is what we want. Oh, hang on. Is it because... nope, everything is at size. 75 centimeters. Why are they, like, just so far off? Like... instead of the entire geometry. As a separate instance, sorted alphabetically. Relative. Reset children. There we go. Alright, so that does that. And then 0.3. So that does... but that's not what I want. Alright. So using the mesh, we have sensitive something or other than using the... where are we going wrong here? It's been a long time. Okay, so the mesh has a number of vertices. It has a number of edges. So it's got like 2,500 faces. And then... instance realizes instances, instance rotations, instance on points, geometry to instances? No, that was the wrong. Instances. Geometry to instances. There we go. Does that do anything? No. Random values. It's a little bit more random, but it's not really... don't want to... why are they... doesn't exactly do what I want. Object mode, back into here. Edit mode. I want to be able to keep this thin. Alright, so... let's get rid of this, because this isn't doing anything. And then we're just distributing points upon the faces. And the leap motion is not wanting to stay in its holder, and I'm actually able to, like, bend this thing out of shape, which is not so great. Alright. I need to come up with some better music at some point, don't I? Because right now I'm just sort of, like, listening to some common nonsense. Alright, I'm gonna find another playlist that's on this, like, soundtrack thing. Hi there, Yizin! Welcome to the stream. Let's go with, let's see, what's peaceful playthrough like? Hello there. Nope. What's this one like? I'm trying to find some music that has, like, a little bit of a beat to it. Let's go with tech support. Tech support should be good. Tech support sounds good. Alright, so. Oh, I can make this, like, real fucking dense if I want, which might be how I want to do it. And 0.01. 0.1. Alright, that's a lot better. Let's have a look. So it goes along all the points, and then... oh! Alright, primitive. Alright, hang on. Geometry. Curve primitives. I just want to mesh primitives. Here we go. We're gonna go with an icosphere. 0.1. So the icosphere is there. Why are these all floating off the leaf is the question. Why are they not on the origin? Like, hang on. Oh my, why are these things aware of the geometry? That's ridiculous. Alrighty, hang on a sec. I'm just gonna... seriously. Why is it like that? Why does it care where it is in the scene? All right, back to geometry nodes. Let me put some color onto there because I keep looking. All right. Original. Okay, original might be good. Output each children of the collection as a separate instance sorted alphabetically. All right, and then material. Set material. And then we're gonna heart red. Hey! Hi there! Hi there, Wolk! Oh my goodness, you were not here for, like, the moment when I was having such a hard time with... 'cause look at this. This little thing right here. Do you see this? Collection info goes into the geometry to instance, create some random instances on a node that I made on this, like, weird ring here. Now, this, granted it's scaled down right now, but it's based on these 3 leaves that I have here. Back to this thing. Now, because this thing is saying relative, guess what happens when I pick up these 3... guess what happens to this ring here, Wolk, when I pick up this object? You ready for this? This is at world origin. Let's say I want to move it out of the way from my scene. Wham! Fucking explosion, because it's based relative on the fucking scene that it's in. Oh. Like, ah. So yeah, so I've had to make it original, so then that way it's based off of, like, you know, the point that it's on. But as you can see, it's it's not, like, perfect. So I can keep, like... Ooh, actually, get rid of this. You know what? I'm gonna bring it back the transform. Alright, so we're doing the geometry. Oh, wait, no, we don't want this geometry, getting transformed. We want this one. And we're gonna make this one 0.95. So then that way it's not on the thingy-madiggies. I wonder how... 0.9. No, that'd be too much. Alright. 0.95. Alright, and then I'm just gonna hide those. Alright, were you on object mode? Okay, cool. And then... render image. Let's see how this looks. I know I can hide the oh. Well, that sucks. I was so excited for this thing to... Why is it not showing the objects? Output each children in the collection as a separate instance sorted alphabetically. It's enabled. Merp. Alright. Okay, let's see what happens when I render it this time. Okay. Alright, so that put the leaves back on there. They're not down... you can kind of see them. Hang on a sec. I'm just gonna... move that... Oh my god. Why? Wait, why is it still doing it? Reset the transformation of in the input only used when separate children is enabled. There, okay, there we go. Alright, I can move that out of the way at least. And leave this here. So... Alright, let's have a look at this render right now. Hopefully it still has the leaves there and it's not going to just like be blown like out of what's-a-mahoozy. So there we go. That looks like a wreath, right? Looks like a wreath. I can probably like... I'm trying to think of like where I would put that, because like chat goes here. You haven't actually really used geometry roads. You still do stuff the old-fashioned way with hair particles. That's valid, because I was using hair particles earlier on as well. So, but then I swapped over to geometry nodes, because that gave me, like, you know, control over, like, the scale and what have you. Also, my leap motion is... Uh-oh. I think I broke my leap motion holder. Ooh. Oh, no, wait, hang on. It's just a... Okay, so it's just the back of it that's off. Okay, that's not the end of the world. I just need to be careful not to, like, push my leap motion in all the way or something like that. It will fall out a little more often, but... that's the price. Alright, so twist that in. Unplug this. Alright, just sit it in there. Sit. All right, there we go again. All right, so yeah, we got a wreath. Sure, let's... our holly and mistletoe. Done. Now we need wrapped presents. I'll probably, like, move shit around, so rather than... so I'll have, like, the thingy-majiggy... like, maybe I'll move the Christmas tree to, like, the other side and replace the bookshelf. And then maybe I'll have, like, boxes or something. I don't know. All right, image. I'm going to save this image. All right, where's my Blender renders? There they are. 2012. Christmas break room. We're going to make this the... we're going to make it a PNG. Sure, let's give it an alpha layer. It's really tempting giving this TV an alpha layer, quite frankly. Would be hilarious. Like, somehow making it so that square was transparent. Like, the rest of the PNG, totally fine. And I just realized the most annoying thing. I've kept this. I've kept a reference in the scene. All right, so the mistletoe out of the way. All right, these two things, I'm gonna move them out of the way as well. Oh, not that far.
Jason036 thinks you should do 15 squats.
Of course you do, Jason. Of course you do. Alrighty. Chat, have a think about, like, where we're gonna put our Christmas gifts and such like that. Like, where would we put them? Just keep in mind that this is all going into this scene here. So it's like, I gotta figure out how to move everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I need to move the bookshelf out of the way. I think I need to do that at the very least. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh wait, 15. I'm already up to 15. Alright. Back over to the play area. Alright, here's what I think we're going to do. So... I think that's how you spell wreath. And then... so... alright, cool. So that's going to follow us, which is what we want. And then... and then we're going to put this over here. And then... let's grab these two... scatter them? Well, if I was getting, like, lots and lots of gifts, I guess we could scatter them. I might need to rotate the bookshelf, so then that way it's not in the cookie for Yizen. I'm gonna need a... or maybe I can move the TV. Hang on.
Yizen Blinder wanted me to say cooketh.
Alrighty. That's a little bit better. Alright. Come on, chair. There we go. Oh, not too far. Not too far. Alright, let's see. How does this look? All right, I can probably push the chair a little bit back. Oh my god, it's... My PC is struggling to move a couch. Jesus. Come on. You can do it. Just small steps. Just don't break, okay? That's it. And... Alright. Up, come on. Up. Ah! Alright, hang on. You know, let's get you, like, here-ish. Alrighty. How close is... Okay, that's a little bit better. And then... Hey, chat, do I want to make the tree bigger? I can make the tree bigger. The duality of chat? Yeah, nah, keep it that way. Just make it a fucking massive... Hang on, let me... Bigger! Make it a fucking massive fucking... Also, fun fact. The material used for, like, the actual tree branches isn't even tree. It's fucking cardboard. Ah, you're right. There we go. How about this? 17% bigger. I think that's a nice size. 17%. That's a pretty decent size. And what's more is, you know, we'll have the thingy-majiggies, like, you know. You drank it so fucking loud I can actually hear it. Hang on. There we go. How was that? I'm just gonna remix that, get that replay buffer hit, just so then that way I can just hear what does golfing sound like, because I might put that into my next time I do a hydrate redeem, just have that sound, just hearing, because I wonder if it's gonna sound like glugging and shit, because I can't hear it. I don't know what I sound like when I drink.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody breaks the law on my watch. I'm confiscating your stolen goods. Now pay your fine, or it's off to jail.
Basically that's what you wanted to say to me, Yizin, was stop right there. Alrighty, let's do a quick render. Hopefully everything is still, like, in the right positions and such. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's interesting seeing my bookshelf in an entirely different position, I'm going to be saying. Alright, save as. Add it into the next thingy. There we go. You know what I want to do? I want to make that fatter. Hang on. Just make it real fucking fat. Ah, okay, no, stop. Oh, shit, where's my cursor? There it is. All right. Uh, 5 centimeters. Hi there, Aurora. Welcome to the stream. I am decorating... I'm decorating my stream room. So normally people, they see this in their background. Okay, obviously the tree behind me is not a normal thing, but I just put that in there like really quickly last week. This week I'm doing a lot more editing. I'm probably not going to be able to use like the render like the next stream that happens this year, because this is like one of my last streams, but I'll definitely have to use this, like, you know, next year, and I'll put a little more planning into it. Like, I'll do like next time in, like, say November or something, I'll do like a Blender stream. All right, so we got the wreath just a little bit. All right, let's go for 3 centimeters. Four centimeters sounds good. All right, object mode, render image. Let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, the wreath still looks good. The wreath still looks good. That's nice. Oh, actually, I could put it up on the... Hi there, Yoshi. I'm rendering. I know what I can do. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this... I'm going to move this here. That way it looks like it's hanging on the light fixture. New room? Yeah, I'm working on a Christmas room. I know I'm not going to be like streaming next week or on Christmas this year, but you know, I still wanted to do some renders. I might have to get you to design a new room for me too. Oh my goodness. Code, I'm not that great of an interior decorator. I hope you realize that like the most decoration I have done is, all right, let me just put this into context. That corner right there is 90+% of the decoration in my room normally. Like, I'm not moving those weights. I made those books. I put a really easy love heart there. I made an easy star. And then that Twitch bit took me a much longer than needed to be to make that Twitch bit. And then the stool I stole from, like, you know, online or something or rather, same as the Rubik's Cube. And then I saw, like, someone made a Kronk and a Bulbasaur, and that was really cool. And then I went and shrunk my, I shrunk myself down and made myself into an action figure. Don't question the logistics of shrinking your clone down and making an action figure. But this is what, ooh. Chat, are you seeing the little, like, after effect that's going off in my, render? Like, it looks like I look like Speed. Nyom. 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 He's like Quicksilver, except he's still alive. He's just doing like a weird... Just like this weird after effect thing. There's like an after image. And it's only him as well. Kronk is totally, like... Kronk doesn't have any speed.
Tripping on the mushrooms.
Tripping on the shrooms. Alrighty. Okay. Serious moment. We need to make a box. So, first things first, we're going to create a cube. Sure. Fuck it. Let's make it that big. 0 the position, just so then that way, you know, it's not... And then I'm going to make it 0.5 meter in size. So then that way... 75 centimeters, so then that way... Sure, it's going to be an intimidating floating Christmas box, but... It is what it is. Alrighty, so...
A box for all the anthro foxes you hide inside it.
What anthro foxes? I ain't got no anthro foxes. Alright, we're gonna do a loop cut. So we're gonna have it like near the top there. And what we're gonna do is... Alright. Grab the faces... Alright, and then we're gonna scale...
All them big boobied foxes you keep hidden in your room.
Where? Where are the big booby foxes? I have no big booby foxes. The only thing with the big tits in the room is me. Alright, extrude region. I think I want to... Let's see, what's extrude manifold? Let's see what this is like. Nope, that's not it.
No, you do. don't deny.
There we go. We got ourselves... So we got ourselves the startings of a box. The offset is going to be 3 centimeters this time. That way we get something real big. So there we go. We got the startings of a box. Now we need to make ribbon. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna... Boobies! Box. There we go. All right.
I'm freezing my nuts off!
Sure, you go freezing your nuts off.
It's a box that holds a fox wearing socks.
Boobies! Oh, I'm so stupid. What I should have done is I should have just gone with my normal... I should have gone with this extruding. There we go. Oh, I'm a fucking genius. All right, watch this shit. Hit the little plus. Ribbon. Assign. Select more. Watch this shit. You ready for this? Assign. Select. So that's that box. And then we... Wait, what? Who? Fabu! Hi! Hello! Happy Christmas! Baba Booey! Hi! Hello, everyone! Coming to steal your presents? I just started making presents. I hope you realize this, Fabu. Hi, everyone! Welcome to the stream. My name is Grant. I'm a furry streamer. I normally, play video games or what have you. But I'm not playing video games tonight. I'm in Blender. I'm making myself a gift. Boop. So let me do a quick render for you guys. Hang on a second. So previously last week I was working on a Christmas tree. The PC crashed one time, so I ended the stream at that point, but I was able to that tree you see right there, that's a Christmas tree. I made that. Oh my goodness. Hopefully stuff doesn't break. Sorry. Things are just having a fun moment. All right, can we get a shout out? Yay! Thank you, Jason, for the shout out to Fabu. How was the little gator game? I'm gonna be real. I was sneaking peeks into your stream because I really love your Christmas tree Sona that you've made, or that Christmas tree outfit, I should say, that you made. It was precious. Oh, that's good to hear. I heard Mega got the game as well. So they're gonna be playing it as well. But anyway, sorry. Little gator game. Got distracted. But yeah. I'm making, hello there. Now, for those, so regular followers of me will know that this room is just simply my chatting room. Ignore the tree that's behind me. That was done in last week's render. This is what my scene normally looks like. It's it's fairly all right, but I wanted to do something a little more Christmassy, even though this is one of my last streams of the year. So I'm redecorating the room so then that way it's more for next year. Ignore the floating white box in the center there, because that is going to be my Christmas gift. Also, why is the weight at assign? Select. There we go. Sign. There we go. So yeah, we're making a Christmas tree. I'm gonna have to lurk seas because I need to get groceries and food, but I love you. Aw, thanks, you little cutie. Thank you for thinking it looks great. All right, so wait, who God damn, there's so many of you. It was absolutely crazy. So, who are some... Okay, I recognize Sarkon Vol. Fabu. Trigger Beast. Trigger Beast I've recognized from Mudosaur's stream. Oh my god, there's so many of you. Ow, who... Darn you, Machine Keen. Just throwing traffic cones at me. Alright. So, I need to make this box colorful. So, first things first. Actually, I have a silly idea. Alright.
Jason036 thinks you should do 15 squats.
Gosh darn it. Fine. Fine! Some of us cried. Oh, at the little game. The little gator game. Alright. I need to do my 15 squats real quick. I'm gonna use this time to like think of like, you know, really good ways to like color my Christmas box and make it so that when I create multiple Christmas boxes, they're different colors.
Caraboy wanted me to say I love this kind of stuff. Always fun to see someone doing art.
Oh, thank you, Caribou. I don't normally do art a lot of the time. Like, this is fairly new for me. I'm not an art expert like Fabu and a lot of Aussie furs. 1, 2, 3. I'm much too himbo for that. 4, 5. Oh, Jesus, I nearly fell over. Hang on. I need to do that 5th one again. 5, 6, 7. I'm just like a commissioner connoisseur. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Thank you for the 15 squats, Jason. I really appreciate it. Oops, it says my name wrong. It's meant to be Cario, like as in Lucario. Oh, wait, how did it say it? Where is it? Twitch speaker settings. Speaking his... no, I do not want to silence the TTS. That was by mistake. Event log, speaking history. Where is it? Things you should do. It's a box that holds... Why hasn't the... Huh. Can I force it to do it again? Hang on. So wait, what is it? Okay. Because I feel like if I type in car, that's gonna like say a...
Cario.
Lucario.
Lucario. Sario.
Caraboy wanted me to say here, let me do this again.
I'm trying to like cheat the TTS bot.
Cario. Ciario. Cario.
There we go. Here's what I'm gonna do. Users. Where's you? There you are. They're technically gonna say Car Rio, but there's enough of a gap that I feel like it's gonna sound like Cario, like your nickname. All right, save settings. So now. What does it do?
At Caraboy and Cario.
Okay, so it still does Caraboy if reported directly, but I think when you do the TTS redeem, it will then, like, you know, use your nickname. All right. Okay, hang on. Christmas. So I've already done Christmas body. So... And then I'm gonna... So yeah, because what that... okay, so this one should do the... My goodness. Oh. Yeah, this is shading. Why is it so... Oh, that's why, because... Alright. Yep, cool. So this is doing
Jason
random
wanted
series
me
of colors.
to say it, Carryboy.
If you directly refer to them, it's going to say, like, the name as is. But I think once they do the redeem next time, it will use their nickname, because Twitch speaker is interesting that way. Alright, so one of the things I'm going to need to do is... Alright, so this is going to be... So this is going to be the Christmas box. And then we're going to duplicate. All right, so we got the box and then we got the ribbon. And we're going to assign it to that. Meanwhile, select, assign. All right, so right now with the way it is, that's not really, you know, cool Christmassy. So what I need to do instead is... All right, so the gift box we can probably keep to these colors. The ribbon, meanwhile, I am going to need to do an adjustment. First off, let's go for different colors, so then that way... Alright, ribbon colors. We're not going to go with this light... of course, I got rid of it. Alright, we're not going to go with this light green. We're going to go with... Gonna go with this more yellowy kind of... Actually, no, I already have a yellow, so we'll get rid of that. Get rid of this brown. Get rid of this green. Distribute from the left evenly. Delete with a reconnect. There we go. So now we have... So now it's two different colors. So the ribbon is going to be one color, and the box is going to be another. And what we're going to do with the ribbon is we're going to make it less rough and a little more metallic. Actually, let's put the roughness back up. Let's go like 0.1. And then metallic is 0.5. So yeah. Now, the reason why I have like this color ramp here and then, you know, object info random is so then that way... Actually, you know what I need to do? I need to really quickly hide these walls again. Sorry, give me a second. Where are the walls? There's the walls. All right, hide the walls. So the reason we hide those walls is so... Now, the reason why we're doing like this color ramp thing into random is so then that way when I go and select... It's different colors. Although I might need to change the order of operation on some of these colors. So, give me a second. I'm gonna... Stops from the left. There we go. So now... Now they're different, like, you know... Now we have, like, different color ribbons for each color box, and it's less of a likelihood of them doing a, matching colors. Now, I need a bow to, like, put on the top of this thing, though. And I'm not 100% certain how I would go about putting a bow from here. I don't... I think I have an idea. Hopefully this works. Oop. Not like that. Where's the snapping? Snap cursor to selected, so it's in the center there. All right. Is there... Let's have a look. Torus object for twisted torus. A torus knot. Oh, no, not the torus knot. Math functions. Gears. What the fuck is a worm? Oh, that's a worm. No. Pipe joints. Cross? No. I need to make like a... There's got to be like a ribbon here. Simple star, step, honeycomb, teapot, Menger sponge. No. Blender ribbon bow. Converting the mesh to creating the ribbon, adding the curve, tilting the... How to make a ribbon, how to make a... Alrighty, let's have a look at this man. So... 2 years ago. Download the under the scene. Interesting that he just like, you know, created the rectangle exteriorly. I just, you know, did the extrude and such. All right. Okay. Okay, so he's... I see what he's doing. I see how he was doing this. I might not be able to do it from within here, however. Yeah, because this is all a mesh. I'm going to need to create the curve from out here. Curly swirlies, curl profiles, noise, profiles, splat, star. Huh, interesting. I could have made the star from in there. Curve, Bezier. First and foremost, you don't need to make it that big, like, goodness gracious. Let's go for, sure, let's go for a 3 centimeter curl. All right, we're going to call this gift bow. And the idea is that, also, we need to make it from, all right, filling, yep, geometry. There we go. All right. Edit mode. There we go. All right. So. Mirror modifier, clipping. Five millimeters sounds good. Okay, why is this thing? There we go. And then extrude that. You need a hug, Sky? Why do you need a hug? Alright, let me give you a hug real quick. Yeah. Come over here. Get over here. Over here. Hugs. Hugs. Leap motion, please. Work with me. Hugs. Okay, it wasn't perfect, but here. Here's a command. Hugs. That should work. That should be a lot better than my thingamajig. Alrighty. Okay, so... And then we do this, and then we can go this, and then we can go like this. Boop. I'm gonna be real. I'm not really good at doing bows. I was really hoping for just like... It's really hard making smooth curves, okay? It's hard. Like... Oh, you can randomize? Oh my god, that is crazy. Alright, let's not do that again. Curve pen radius. Okay. Tilting. Yeah. How do people do it? How do people make really good bows, quite honestly? Alright, let me get rid of you again. So. Alrighty. What am I looking at? I am looking at trying to make a bow using curves. I'm not really good at it, though. So, hang on. So... Fuck. How do you... So you got your thingy, and then...
How do they do it again? How do they make fucking...
Trying to sideways 8, expand it, then flatten it. Alright, hang on. So, mirroring it. Give me a sec. Curve, hang on. Curve profiles. Arrow, arc, cogwheel. Ooh. We got 3D helixes. Flower. You have the 2 and then a square in the middle. Oh. Oh, hang on. Okay. All right, do they have the spherical? Oh my gosh, you can just make a fucking wicker. How is it that they can do these complex like thingy madiggy? Oh my god, what the okay, that doesn't work. A 9x9 color? Nope, can't do that. Braided coils. How in the world are they able to make these like weird Taurus knot things? But the minute
Sir Dragonx 88 thinks you should do 15 squats.
Hang on. Oh, can't do that. All right. Curve, path, empty hair, arc, circle. Trapezoid, profiles. Okay, so here's a curly curve. All kinds of crazy curves. We might be onto something, Chad. I might have found the oh, there's only 10. All right. I think that's this is a nice curve here. All right. So .1. Negative 90. Alrighty. How in the world is this not wanting to rotate right now? I don't know. There we go. Negative 90. Oh, it's because I'm in fucking object mode, not edit mode. There we go. All right, maybe not that depth. There we go. All right. Then we go into edit mode. Grab the 2. And then why is it? Oh. I think I might have accidentally have duplicated it. Hang on. I might have broke. Oh, I need to do my squats. Hang on a sec. Let me do my squats, and then I'll go back and recreate the curve. Give me a few. Give me a few. Hang on. I forgot to do Sir Dragon's thingamajiggy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Sorry I didn't do the squats until now, Sir Dragon. I got really, really invested in getting this ribbon. All right, here's what I should actually do. Get rid of the from there. Curves, curly curve, -90. -1.1. There we go. -90. There we go. Actually, no, let's not have that one. Let's get the wrapping perfect with this one. Then what I can do... alright, hang on. Does this thing have a... Hi there, Phantom. Welcome to the stream. Yep, 90 degrees. Sounds good. And then... convert to mesh. And then join them together. Join these two together. There we go. And then edit mode. Control L. And then we assign them to the ribbon. There we are. So now, oop, hang on, I need to fix this green here. Oh, because I didn't. Wait, what? There we go. 2, 3. There we go. All right, so that should be that. Now if I assign them to the ribbon, there we go.
Quote 149. They're ducking weird.
Yes, they are. They are ducking weird. Huh, interesting that... Select more. Extrude faces, dissolve, unsubdivide. There we go. Is there a way for... Alright, go to vertice mode. Merge by distance. So then that way it's only... That's not going to be good. Alright, that should be good. And then... Let's see if I can... Merge by distance those ones. No, I don't want to. All right, that's a lot cooler. And then we're gonna bring these guys at the center. Select more. M by distance. This should be good. Just want to grab your OC snoot. No, you can't grab it. All right. No. So, let's go with at center. No. At center. No. Oh, I see. It's because I accidentally grabbed. At center. That's at center. And I did that again, where instead of grabbing the... Center, center, center. So yeah, I'm just combining all of the ribbons into one spot just to like try and make them look a little more like, you know, they got looped in together or something or other. No one's gonna like have like, you know, a super close look at these other than those who are watching the stream right now, but not very many people watch me for the arts. Everyone watches me for shit takes on video games and my muscles. So, but I like doing art. I like I'm not good at it, granted, but I like to, you know, maybe put a little bit of effort into this kind of stuff. My brain cannot decide if you're saying Santa or Santa. Center. Alrighty, so now... So we have those, like, sort of merged in together. So now... We can, like... Bring... So... Alright, from a distance that looks pretty good. And I betcha... Yeah, look at that. We are now able to, like, you know, litter these around the place. Alrighty. Oh, that's right. I have to... Hang on a sec. I need to make it so that these are technically... There we go. Now, when I place them, they'll be like, you know... There we go. Now they're like a little closer to the ground. Alright, so that was the mistletoe leaves. So now if I wanted to, I could create... I can create like a... Actually, you know what? I should demonstrate this. So if I go and... Let's say I create like a single vert. If it'll let me. So it adds it in this random spot here. Now, let's say... So I'm going to move it so then that way it's like sitting right there, right on the ground. Now I'm going to go into edit mode. And I'm going to like create some random spots in and around the place. Now, hopefully, yep, all of these are going to like... So yeah, I can put one like all over the random place. So now these vertices are going to be, these are going to be for my geometry nodes. So these are going to be the geometry placement. So now I'm going to go into, where is it? Geometry nodes. I'm going to reutilize the mistletoe thing. Duplicate that.
Phantom wanted me to say make sure you save your work, you cute, adorable, strong, awesome, fuzzy, sweet
Thank you
and
for
sour
reminding
L,
me, actually.
spicy,
I haven't
himbo,
saved in over
cuddleable,
2
huggable,
hours.
Boopable, himbo hooter boopable himbo daddy zebra boy. Lol JKB JK.
Thank you for the compliments. All right, so geometry nodes. Now, so here's what's going to happen is... So we're going to put mesh to points. So we're going to put this here. And then using... And then we're going to go instance on points. So for all the points here, we're going to then instances... where is it? Object info. All right, so we're going to grab the Christmas gift. We're going to grab that geometry and put it into the instances. Hopefully this works. Come on. I want to turn the vertexes into points. Vertex. Nope. So we got our, and then we got our points, and then it's going to be random. Oh, it'd also help if I, there we go. If you don't like seeing directly support this, you already dealt with that, lol. Just asking, but why RobotZeebs? Well, because I, like, GrantZeebs, that's me, and I was like, fine, I wanted to make a bot account, and I was like, all right, what is an obvious name for a bot? And so I decided on RobotZeebs. So it's not me, but it's like a robot. Like, look at this guy. He's a robot. Simple enough to understand, and he, you know, emulates me because I'm obviously cool. right, so that's not working. So I have a geometry. Mesh. Mesh to points, mesh to volume. Mesh to points. Vertices. There we go. All right. So yeah, so we've now made like all the different vertices are now just a random point, and we can random value vector. All right, so we don't want the x, we don't want the y. All right, so we want random z points. So it can be 0, 0. There we go. So now we have random z points. And look at this. I can just be like, spin! Spin! Alrighty. So yeah, so we now have like these random points where we can set our GIFs and what have you. And we're doing this rather than like setting down vertices. Why do you say bot so fancy and all British like? Robot. 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 I don't know. My accent is an amalgamation of American, Canadian, English, Australian, because even though I've now lived in Australia for over half my life, the first half of my life was, you know, doing, like, living in the Middle East and living with family who are all Americans with Canadian, like, extended family and friends. I was in the Middle East, so really I was just surrounded by expats of all kinds of people. You know how it is. Or at least I don't know. How many of you guys are like expats or immigrants, I should say? I don't know. Like, I don't 100% understand the difference between immigrants and expats. Also, no nomming of the Zeebs, please. All right. So yeah, now we have like our cool little Christmas bosses. Oh, I just realized we can randomize the scale as well. All right, hang on a sec. So we can random the scale. So then that way, all right, I'm just going to go with... boop. So now we can go for like, so we can make it a random between 0.25 and 1.25. So now if we do random scales, you get some fun boxes like these. Well, that's pretty neat. All right. And why no nom nom? I didn't forget you're a 10-foot tall lion. It's just a general policy. It's just a general policy that I don't want anyone nomming me. I'm not a vor channel. That's code. Code's the vorer. All right. Okay, so we got geometry placement, edit mode, Shift D. Oh my. Oh, that's funny how it just like. All right. Hang on a second. Turn that off for edit mode, just so then that way I have a... There. And if I turn off the Christmas gifts... Alrighty. There we go. I guess the only downside is that I can't, like, go in after the fact to fix some of these boxes, but it is what it is. Nom as in a nibble or a bite of the head. Again, It's just a general no from me, chat. It's just a general no from me. I ain't the nommies. I ain't no gobby nommy. Alrighty. Render image. So yeah, and the cool thing is that because of that geometry node, what I can do is I can just replicate the placement and do a second series of geometry nodes for like a second layer. So if I wanted boxes on top of boxes, save as, and we'll make this break room number 3. All right. Now, there is something I want to double check. So... what in the world? What do I have at 10 here? Oh, it's the Christmas tree lights is what it is. Aw, 60% cute's really good. Alright. Here's what I'm gonna do. This might break Blender, however. I'm just gonna really quickly save this. Thank you for the boobies. Alright, so... half a second a frame. It's a 4K render. And this is the second break room. It's going to be an MP4 quality. I don't have audio, so I don't know why. I don't need audio. There we go. It's going to be medium quality. It's going to be 10 frames. And it's going to be... so it's half a frame a second. It's going to be rendering. So I'm going to save this. Hopefully, I'm not going to have any problems. Render animation. Please don't crack under the pressure. Please don't crack under the pressure. I know it's a 4K image, but just... you can do this. So that's the first frame done. Second frame done. Now, the reason why it's taking so long is because of, like, the Christmas tree lights you see there. I know there's going to be a lot of clipping of objects in this render, but hear me out. It's not important. All right. So far, so good. So we're 8 frames now. 9. Ten. All right. That should be all of them. My goodness, like 3 gigs of memory to like do 10 frames. All right, that should have been all of them. So now... I'm just going to go back into this chat screen. So this is what my scene was looking like before. So if I change the animated... so yeah, so this is doing the normal Christmas tree lights. I'm going to add a file, and it's going to be the second Christmas tree lights. We're going to click OK. All right, this looks like there's a lot more nonsense going off, for sure. Although it's kind of funny that, like, the cheers and what have you are, like, on the tree itself. I maybe could have... I need to put something in that like, corner up in the top left there. Also, I need to update my to-do... I need to update my checklist. I was able to do the wrapped presents. Check mark. So... that went well. Awesome. Boobies. Boobies. Sorry, I can't get boobies out of my head. Oh, and I missed Yizin's message about Left 4 Dead. You have a good time at Left 4 Dead? Alrighty. I'm trying to think if there's any other ways we can improve this. Because a part of me wants to just sort of leave it at this. Because you're not going to... But the thing is you're not going to see me for like a week and a half at the very least. Maybe even 2 weeks. You're probably not going to see me until the new year. Like, this is most likely my last stream of the year. Like, I'm going to be... Because, like, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to be busy with family that I have here on the Australian side. My dad for Sunday afternoon. Saturday, I'm going to be trying to, like, you know, do like, chores, clean up, all this kind of nonsense tomorrow. So then that way, you know, when Monday, Tuesday come around, I'm able to like do a final check on any sort of things I need to get completed, such as anything to do with travel, make sure I don't need to do any like last minute vaccinations or something crazy like that, because that will be really fucking annoying. I've already done like 2 boosters and like my standard 2 shots and the 2 boosters that came afterwards. Make sure I have all the things I need for packing in a suitcase. Make sure I, you know, put all the mail in the proper, like, you know, address, so it's not still going to my old friend's place. Try and catch up with one of my friends as well to get this leap motion. Fuck, this is gonna be, yeah. Yeah, I think this is gonna be the last time I'm talking to you guys this year. Hopefully I'll be able to, like, chat in the Discord or something like that. Oh, and I need to, like, there's still so many things I'm going to be doing. Like, trying to put in TikToks as often as I can. Because, like, even when I'm on holiday, like, I'm still going to be doing things to, like, try and encourage, oh, hey, I stream and all this kind of such. But I swear, well, I can't stream right now, but I swear I will in the new year. Like, fuck. Well, I hope you guys, like, had an okay time. I don't normally do art and such like that, so I know, like, you know, a majority of the peeps here right now are really just Pona's peeps, who probably have, like, much higher expectations of those who will do art and what have you, but, you know, I try my best, and it's hard to be creative sometimes, like, or at least not creative, but it's hard to be, you know, being able to exercise the, like, being able to get something creative in your mind and, like, putting it out there. Because, like, people can have ideas, like, you know, most people come up with, like, hundreds of them in a day. Like, it's half the reason why we have conversations, storytelling, and what have you, but it's another thing to have someone be able to, like, write a book, do drawing, 3D renders, or, you know, all kinds of things. So it's going to be, yeah, I'm not the best at this kind of stuff, but, you know, I want to try. I want to do the best that I can. I wish you could commission me. I had a great time with your streams, even in an art stream. Oh, I am not good enough for commissions, I'm sorry to say. Like, all this shit you see around you, like, I don't know if I'm worth the monies. Not yet, at least. And I don't know, like, that's the other thing, is, like, so, like, the time. You're better than me. Aw. Well, thank you for saying so, Phantom. I appreciate it. I like that. Thank you. All right, I can't leave you guys hanging. I need to send some of you over to someone else tonight. I need to find someone. Let's see. We got Alvir. Oh, we got Noob playing Hard on Life. Green Pika. Cosmic Wolf. Lol. Bajo. What's Sif doing? I'm working in the, No, okay. Oh, the temptation of your boobies money. Need a raid target. Yeah. Because here's the thing is like, I don't know if I want to throw 60 people over to a small streamer that would be worth it, such as Alvirus and a few others, or if I want to throw 60 people at like a big streamer, because that's the thing, is like raids function in two ways. You're either spreading the love to someone who is worth it, or you're utilizing the raid functionality to get a shout out in a bigger audience. And I'll be real with you, it's really tempting to throw it to a guy named Bajo, because I used to watch his I used to watch some of the shit from ABC. Room Gray is the one you'd suggest. Do I have him on my... Oh, he's not even on my recommendeds. That's weird. Tricky. Let's have a look. Green Pika, Simon. I think I'm gonna send you guys to... Wait, hang on. Room in Gray. Give me a moment. He just started. Go to Room in Gray. Let's have a... Sorry, unless you've got a time machine, that content is unavailable. Hang on a second. There he is. I think it was because I had white space at the start. Let's have a look. Oh, he's part of Wild Abandon. I didn't realize that. Hi, Donkin Dice. We're having a look at, like, potential raid targets. What's he doing? Hello, he's also known as Kenpai or Ken or Grey Arumon. He's a lizard man. Okay. I reckon you're maybe on my knees. Oh, but Ziff. Keltathane Pomeranian? What? No. White space is a legitimate. It's a coding term. Basically, white space is like a blank character in It's just a blank character in coding and such like that. So most programs don't know how to function with white space with that like empty character and what have you. But there are some, such as Python, for instance, where they care about that kind of nonsense. Oh, Kelta the Pomeranian. Okay, so that's who you're talking about. All right, let's have a look at Kelta the Pomeranian then. Let's have a look. Okay, so they're playing Final Fantasy XIV, looking to get some tomestones. I kind of want to give it to Rooming Gray, because the thing is that they also have a follower target, and they're really close to getting to it. So I think I'm gonna send you guys over to Rooming Gray. They're like 2 away from trying to get to like 2,000 followers. So, and that was like Phantom's recommendation. We're gonna go send it to Rooming Gray. And our raid message, we're just gonna go with the classic raid. And it sounds like you were striking the fire, so you just tossed a random person. Yeah. All right. Here's our raid message. Himbo raid. Show us your cutest guys, gals, and non-binary pals, or prepare to get swole. Man. Maybe next year I'll check in with people on like, hey, can we think of a better raid message? But I'm not running with like large number of peoples with words and such like that. Because Phantom and Donkin, you guys are like always here, always up for a chat and such. Oh, and sometimes Sky. Sky is sometimes here. But yeah, more chatters. Definitely. And then there's always like chaotic elements like blue and what have you that will like come in and just cause like mischief and shit. But yeah, while we're getting that raid sorted out, last things I need to say are there's no stream tomorrow. So, and I'm gonna be on holiday mode, so I'm sorry, but there's not gonna be any more streams. But I'll try and keep, you know, TikTok updated and checking on my Discord once in a while. Otherwise, thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate everyone who came along, especially from the raids. And I hope you all have a good evening and hope to see you possibly next year. Bye for now.